It was very important to me that we have both public-facing events and very personal, private events for the women's community and art events for the art community, and that all of those be accommodated in the work. I've been working with animal entrails and lamb carcasses and so on for some time, and had this idea of a lamb carcass with turkey wings, white wings, kind of like a Pegasus, sort of straining to leave the ground as a metaphor for violence. What happens when a woman is raped is often her consciousness takes off and she separates from the body. And Dina Metzger had written very powerfully about that. She was a teacher, former teacher and a colleague of mine at the Women's Building. And so that image came to me as an expression of that separation and the immersion in the body, but the attempt of the consciousness to leave. I invited some of my students who had experienced rape. Actually, I invited a lot of people to come and share stories. And I sat in this gallery for a period of several days. People came and we would talk about their experiences. Around the walls of the gallery there were maps of all the the United States, just pinned all over. And people would write their stories and they would just stick them on the wall. The second part was I invited these students who had been raped and were, at this point, gone through enough consciousness raising they wanted to deal with it. And we did a ritual where they anointed their bodies with red dye and ate together. And the third part was the performance installation itself, where people would be admitted 3 or 4 at a time into this small room, and what they would see would be this lamb carcass flying, stretched to the ceiling, and then they would, going around this animal, would begin to read the women's stories that were posted all over the maps. And so the experience, not unexpected, was sort of this confrontation and then this sort of voyeuristic looking at these women's experiences. And then most people, when they were in the room, at some point over the course of several minutes would become aware they were being watched. And there was the ledge over the door so you wouldn't see when you were coming in, and lights shining on the room. But if you heard a noise or if you heard breathing in the silence, when you looked up above the door, you would see these 4 women who were crouched, stained red, nude, just looking at you. So they were very bird-like and kind of mythic figures. What I was looking for, and what several people told me they experienced, was this sort of shock of awareness that you weren't looking, you were being looked at. And it was sort of a subject reversal that, to me, was kind of critical to understanding the experience of violence for women. Because culture, society, when they looked, were still looking. Even if you look at the movie scenes of rape, the camera angles, everything was looking at the woman. And in this, the women were looking back.